to say shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters, those that are near, those that are far off. We started this out on Facebook, but apparently for some odd reason the videos wouldn't let the video play. Now, let's give you some foundation to what we're going to deal with. We're going to look at understanding the Timothy's prophecy. That's in the book of Timothy. I do believe it's 2 Timothy. Or is it? No, it's 1 Timothy. The first epistle of Timothy in the 4th chapter. Okay? And what we're going to deal with, the reason why our foundation, shalom, Sister Royale, our foundation is going to be based on, who we aiming for. Is we're aiming for our younger brothers and sisters to get them the proper understanding so that their growth don't get stagnated like so many of our young brothers. Growth is stagnated because as soon as they learn a couple of scriptures, they think that now they know something, and they go out here and start making a complete mess because they don't understand. And the reason why we want to deal with one of these this Timothy's prophecies is because this is one of the main prophecies. It's one that the Christian church have used. It's one that the Christian church have used over and over again as a means to bring our people up under a spell. And it's also one that our brothers in truth are using as well, as though the sacrificial work of Hamashiach could fight against the law and the prophets, as though Hamashiach came to make war with Moses or make war with Ezekiel, Isaiah, Daniel. See, Hamashiach didn't come to make war with the prophets. He came to bring cohesiveness and fulfillment and totality to it. So, give me 1 second and then we're going to get right at it. All right, sorry about that, brothers and sisters. I was out doing a little bit of work, and so I had to try to make a way to get these things happening while it be on my mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something that the Christian church never learned, and we never learned how to do it when we was in there. That's operate according to the scripture to bring fullness. Precept must be upon precept, so we're going to use some precepts in order to break some of these things down. Now, the purpose behind what we're doing is going to be based on Galatians 4th chapter. I say that the child, as long as he, what would I say? Let me go get it so I don't be fumbling around with my words. Let's go to Galatians. Galatians. Let me go to Galatians. We'll go to Galatians, the 4th chapter. This is going to be our foundation of the reason why we're about to start aiming at some of these things that's creating confusion. We want to bring fullness to some of our brothers and sisters, our younger brothers and sisters, so that they can be able to understand and comprehend the new covenant and the workings of the Spirit. All right? Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, he differeth nothing from a servant, even though he be Lord over all. See, that's our aim, because our young men and women, they are heirs to the kingdom. But as long as they're children in their understanding, they differ nothing from somebody that don't even know the Most High. And he said, the next verse says, but he is under tutors and governors until the appointed time of the Father. See, the Father having an appointed time, just like a child grows through grade school and go through middle school and go through high school. But by the time he goes to college, it's time for, that's an appointed time that the parents release them into their destiny and into their own life. That's the time that the parents stop assuming the responsibility for them, and they start causing them to understand what they have, and they have to be responsible for. Well, it's the same way in the kingdom. You see, because the Most High don't want us our people sitting up under men their whole lives. You see, the same way a parent releases a child into their destiny, then those men and women that will become tutors and governors over the children who are heirs, they must understand that it's for an appointed time. It's not so you can be connected to me for 30 years, for 50 years. You don't, it happens, but you genuinely don't see the average people hanging around in their mothers, still in their, got a room in their mama's house and their mom and daddy's house, and they 40 years old. See, that generally don't happen. And when it do happen, it don't make sense, because that's not just how it's supposed to be. So we're under tutors and governors until the appointed time of the Father. And so what it is that when our young children, when our heirs that are children in their understanding are not taught right, it stagnates their growth. And they have to be, they become that person. They become that young man or that young woman that's still 35, 40 years old, still sleeping in their mother or their grandma's basement with no responsibility, you see? And most of the times when it's like that is because the parent have gotten in the way and not gotten the things done that was necessary to teach those children what they needed to know and make them understand of what their purpose and accountability was. So as long as he is a child, he differs nothing. It said, but they are under tutors and governors until the appointed time of the Father. Because the main ingredient of the new covenant, the only thing that's new about it is that no man would ever teach another man, his neighbor. That's the only thing that's new about it. The same old law that people try to say that the new covenant and the law is, what Bible are y'all reading out of? He said, I will put my law, I will put that same law that I gave Moses, the same law that I've written with my finger, the same law that I've spoken by the prophets. I will take that law and I will write it in your heart and I will put it in your inward parts. And the end result of that is going to be that no man would teach another man. You see? For all would know me, and to the least to the greatest. However, it takes some tutoring and governorship to be able to comprehend these things. The evidence of that is looking at all of the fights that you got going on. Well, Christ came to fulfill the law. Well, Christ came to fulfill the law. Well, the law was done away with. Well, the law was done away with. But the Bible don't say no such thing, because you can't do away with the Father's eternal and righteous and holy law. You can't do away with it, you see? But the new covenant that was spoken of would be what Christ said in the 16th chapter of the book of John. He said, all that the Father hath belong to me. Therefore, I shall take of mine and I shall show it to you. And I will give it to the Spirit and he will show it to you. You see, all things that the Father hath are mine. The things that the Father penned with his finger in the tablets of stone, they belong to me. The audible voices and the angels and the different manners that the Father spoke to the men of old, he said they belong to me. All of the things that ever transpired, everything belongs to me. And I am going to now take those things that belong to me and I'm going to give them to the Spirit. And then that Spirit is going to come and indwell in you with all of that. Not only is he going to indwell with you with all of the things that were written in the pages of the book by the law and the prophets, but he is also going to be able to show us things to come. For eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither have it entered into the heart of the things which the Most High have prepared for us. But it is the Spirit's job to reveal those things to us. This is what the new covenant is all about. See, the Spirit is going to do things that no man could ever do. But in order for us to come to a full understanding, we have to see the systematic pitfalls and traps that come as a means to stagnate the growth of our children before they have a chance to grow up and get grown. So what you have is you have babies that have skipped the 5th grade, they skipped the 7th grade, they skipped the 9th grade, they skipped the 11th grade. You understand what I'm saying? Then dropped out of school and try to blend in with everybody else as though, as though all is well, and out trying to teach something. So when we understand the prophecy, and it's not going to take long, but we're going to show you how you have to use precepts, because Mashiach said, let every thought be established in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. This is what it means to use precepts. He said it's the 2 or 3 witnesses that come to corroborate a story to make whether a thing is true or whether it is false. You see, anytime anybody try to use the letters of Paul out by themselves, they can't do that, because Paul would only be one witness. But see, Paul, when you using the scripture in its rightful context, then you can take the letters of Paul and you can start precepting them with the things in the old to bring fullness and understanding to what Paul was saying. And that's why, damn.